People want to know, Daggerheart or D&D? We say both! Age of Umbra and more campaign frames and Daggerheart content are on the horizon. All 8 founders will be returning for Campaign 4, which will still be nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons & Dragons. And this time with 2024 rules.
Still a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons & Dragons. I did not see this coming. I know there will be people in the comments who are like, oh, we always knew. In a way, you can say that Critical Role is still switching systems because they did say they will be playing Dungeons & Dragons 2024. So how as much as that is new. And the other huge change here is that they are changing the cast. They are expanding it from their typical, 7 people? To 13 players. And they will be split into 3 different groups. You know, they're using the term West Marches here, but I don't really know if that's the best way to describe this. So it seems more like 3 campaigns just going on in the same world. And I'm wondering if that's how it'll be viewed. Will everyone just have their favorite group? Because one will be focused on combat, one will be focused on lore, and one will be focused more on like scheming and thievery is I believe how it was explained. So the viewer will either be watching the group that hits their playstyle the best, or be watching the group that is just composed of the people they like to see the most. You know, on one hand, it's easier for every viewer to keep up with the campaign because they might only be needing to watch 1 episode a month then. There's no way they're gonna do 3 episodes a week, right? That would kill Brennan Lee Mulligan. First week of the month is the swords, the combat. Then the second week of the month is the seekers, the lore people. And then the third week is the schemers. And then they take their 4th week off. I think that's actually their normal rotation, right? So circling back to the fact that the system stayed the same, it is baffling because they've changed the GM. That alone is huge. Playing the same game from one GM to the next can feel like a different game. And they have a whole group of new people. They kind of get to say, oh, it's the same cast. But yeah, no, like you're splitting them into 3 different groups and adding a bunch of new people into the mix. So it's a different cast. And much like a GM, that can completely change the dynamic of how the game feels at the table. They're playing in a different world as well. This is not Exandria. It is Brennan's own creation by the name of Eraman, I think is what they said. 70 years have passed since humans, or I should say people, fought and actually killed or removed the gods, so they've been without gods for decades. It does sound like a really cool campaign premise, but changing all of that, they still wanted to stick with Dungeons & Dragons. And actually, here's another thing. There's still a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors playing D&D. Are all these people voice actors? Like, is Brennan Lee Mulligan, is Abria Iyengar a voice actor? I don't really think so. So no, man, like your slogan doesn't really apply anymore. I don't know. I think I'm just kind of upset because I wanted them to play Daggerheart. I go back to this idea that like, you made this game and like you have the pedestal. Like you are the pedestal, guys. And then you're not putting your own game on that pedestal. So it's kind of a weird play. I see that really coming down to 2 things. One, Daggerheart probably doesn't need it, right? Like clearly the game cannot stay in stock, but it would have been nice. And then 2, I think it might really just come down to the fact that all these players are probably most familiar with D&D 5e. I think that would have been a big ask to be like, hey, all you 13 people, you're gonna have to give us amazing improv performances for the next like 2 to 3 years, and and you have to study this 300-page textbook on how to play this game that we wrote. It's almost like when the GM has their whole setting, you know, like novelized and want to just hand all that world lore to the players at the beginning of the campaign. Or likewise, the player who has the 1,000,000-page backstory expecting the GM to read it beforehand. So it was kind of a courtesy move to not force all these players to learn Daggerheart, but it does just feel like a big missed opportunity. And my final take on this is that it seems like Critical Role just continues to make good decisions. You know, even the ones that seem weird, they always end up winning, right? Critical Role, yes, their viewership on like YouTube or Twitch or whatever has gone down over the last couple years. But remember, that's because we're hundreds of episodes like into a campaign and they've been vacuuming up all those viewers into their own private platform Beacon. It's just that I and probably you in the comments as well, unless you've owned a media empire. We just can't see it the way they can and can't like project how this is probably the right move for them, even though it seems wild right now. And with that, I am now going to read some articles about this and watch the announcement videos in an exclusive little video for Patreon and YouTube members and stuff. So if you want to see that and continue the rest of my rambling thoughts on this, you can check it out through the links below. Thank you for the support and keep building.